Hi and Assalamualaikum to Madam Hazbiza and my fellow friends. Today our group will be present about the technology in sport in the topic 8. First of all, we'll introduce our group members. My name is Muhammad Ifan Begam Azman, and Muhammad Faisal Haziq bin Maizan, Muhammad Izzat Akil bin Muhammad Tuah, Muhammad Nazrul Imran bin Nasruddin, and the last one is Muhammad Ifan bin Halim. First of all, I will explain about the introduction of the technology in sport. As we know, our technology in sport are constantly changing in today's era. The technical means by the athlete to improve their training and the competitive surrounding in order to improve their performance. These changes make a big impact to our sport that can improve athlete performance to get their best achievement. The technology is revolutioning sports training by live tracking performance, perfecting athletic movement, enhancing communication, and virtually eliminating injury. Other than that, our technology is help us to make our job become more easier, and people always looking for the new technology to get to fight with their opponents. Okay, next we go to the benefit of the technology in sport. For the first one is makes the game fair. The both athlete and fans wants the game to be fair and correcting mistake to ensure the games get play in the right way. In for example, in the football we have a VAR, which is a video assistant referee, which can help the referee to get a good result by see the instant replay during the game. For the second one is avoid injury. As we know, in sport, safety is a key factor. The equipment manufacturer develop to reduce the injury on the athlete. For the example, National Football League use a special head to absorb shock to protect the athlete from the head injury or neck injury. For the third one is equipment development. In the new era, the technology, better technology in sport is the use of the smart equipment that cooperates sensor and computer. For the example, the material that reduce the weight, such as a bike, racket, and skis, can help the athlete to perform very well. The last one is increased participation, which is from a new technology can attract from the athlete or the fans to come to stadium. That can they can get a new source from the participant or the fans. Okay, next we go to the disadvantages of the technology in sport. Unfortunately, the use of the technology in enhancing the sport facility and equipment is generally in expensive proposition until the coach cannot afford to buy the new technology or equipment. For the example, because of the cost changes brought in sport through the application, the technology tend to be available first to elite level athlete and team. By definition, elite level athlete and sport are exclusive, and thus omit the broader base of the participant further down the sport hierarchy. Okay, next we go to the accuracy of the technology. As we know, the technology is a system that we can. Sometimes the system are down, and we can do a sabotage by other people to get the negative result. For the next one is a coach need to up to date, because the coach will need to have the access the height and technology in order to help their sport people to train and perform their highest level. This means the coach will need to stay up to date with the current technology and be able to afford to the required equipment to improve their performance athlete. For the last one is pace during the game becomes slower. As we know, by use technology, we stop the game and must watching the video or the instant replay to get a good result to satisfy the both team.
Okay, in this slide, I will talk about the ethical issue related to the technology used in sport. Okay, the first point are whether the technology has gone too far. Okay, the athlete can improve better with the technology. As we know, nowadays the sport equipment are more lighter compared to the previous one. Okay, in with this equipment, the athlete can improve better compared to the previous athlete. Okay, next, without technology, the improvement of the athlete will become slower. It must have a limited use of technology if it leads to the unfair competition. Okay, in this point, the international community should monitor and aware about the new technology that be introduced to the sport event or sport competition, so it can prevent the athlete from the winning with the unfair. Okay, the next ethical issue related to the technology used in sport is it the technology have equity access? Okay, as we know, nowadays technology is an expensive equipment. Not all the athlete or maybe country afford to buy this expensive equipment. Certain country that focus more on the sport development will invest to have the latest equipment. For example, the Europe country, they want to focus more on the sport because they know the sport field, sport area can make can make profit from it. Okay, the last point in ethical issue related to the technology used in sport is it technology create unfair competition. Okay, the international competition do not have same level equity. We take the example from the World Cup qualifier. Okay, as you can see, in the Malaysia grouping, not all the tournament do not use the VAR, which is a latest technology that used in the football competition to help the referee when doing some decision. Compared to the maybe in the Europe country, they will use this VAR to help the referee doing the decision to avoid the mistake in the tournament. Okay, next is who have a latest technology access, they can dominate the competition. We take from the MotoGP competition. As we know, our Malaysia rider, Hafiz Sharil, he now play in the Moto2. Before this, he from the MotoGP, but with the performance of the with his performance and his team performance, the sponsor become not interested to sponsor him, so he did not get the best team to make sure he stay in the MotoGP. Now, as we know, the Tengku Mahkota Johor want to sponsor him, so maybe he will come back to the MotoGP to compete with the world class riders. Okay, last is not all athletes have technology advantage. Okay, we take from the Malaysian Super League. We compare between the JDT team and the Sri Pahang FC. Okay, we know that Johor Darul Takzim team is owned by the Tunku Mahkota Johor. He very rich, so he can buy many equipment, many technology to make sure that the team can compete and can conquer the Malaysian Super League compared to the Sri Pahang. Sri Pahang, the team is very poor, so they cannot have a very latest technology, and we know that Sri Pahang do not have a training ground, so they cannot compete with the others team in this situation. So this will create unfair competition.
Okay, we move to the slide of what is research or the definition of research. Research is the organized and systematic method of finding answer to question. It is systematic because it is a process broken up into clear steps that lead or to find the conclusion. The main purpose or main goals of research is to inform action, to prove a theory, and contribute to developing knowledge in a field of study. Next, we move to the slide of significance of research or the importance of research. Number one, it helps you narrow your scope. When you are circling a topic for the first time, you might not be exactly sure where to start. Most of the time, the amount of work ahead. Research will help you to identify the most unique or important themes. Then you can choose the best theme to fit with your project. Number two, it was the medium to give you the latest information. Research encourages you to find the most recent information available. Staying updated prevents you from falling behind. With the latest information, you will be better equipped to talk about a subject and to build the new idea. Number three, it will help you with the problem solving. Depending on what the issue is, your research can focus on what others have done before. You might just need more information so you can make an informed plan and informed decision to solve your problem. The fourth one, it will help you to reach people. Research is used to help raise awareness of issues like climate change, racial discrimination, and more. Without the hard fact, it's hard to make people believe to us. The public or the people needs to know what the facts are, so they have a clear idea of what getting worse or not progressing actual means. And the last one is encourage curiosity and exercise for our mind. Having curiosity and a love of learning take you far in life. Research opens you up to different opinions and new ideas. It also builds discerning and analytical skills and also the research process reward your curiosity.
Assalamualaikum, greetings to Madam Hazmiza and also to all my classmates. Now I would like to continue to the next part in this chapter, which is the ethics in sport. First of all, the definition of ethics in sport is to understand the role of ethics play in sport and competition. It is important to make a difference between gamesmanship and sportsmanship. It is divided into two factors because the way it is being applied is very different. The first part is sportsmanship. It is more of an ethical approach to athletics. It contributes to healthy competition, community of respect and trust between competitors and in society, meaning that the goal in sportsmanship is not simply to win, but to pursue victory with honor by giving their very best. Okay, the second one is gamesmanship. It is built on the principle that winning is everything, including to break the rules. Athletes and coaches are encouraged to bend the rules wherever possible in order to gain a competitive advantage over an opponent. Pay less attention to the safety and welfare of the competition. The example of gamesmanship is faking a fall or injury, use of performance-enhancing drugs, and many dishonest ways to get advantages over an opponent. The next slide explains about 4 key virtues of ethics in sport. The first key virtue is fairness. The definition is stated into several main points, which refer to all athletes and coaches must follow established rules and guidelines of their respective sport. Athletes and coaches cannot be excluded from participating in a sport based on their race or gender. Referees must apply the rules equally to both teams and cannot show bias or personal interest in the outcome. Okay, the second key virtue is integrity. Similar to fairness is that any athlete who seeks to gain advantage over his or her opponent by doing wrong skill that will demonstrate the lack of personal integrity and violates the integrity of the game. In football, it shows off the beauty of the game. Third key virtue is responsibility. Responsibility shows that to be sportsmanlike requires players and coaches to take responsibility for their performance, actions on the field, and emotions. Many times, athletes and coaches will make excuses as to why they lost the game. The most popular excuses is to blame the officiating. The honorable thing to do is to focus only on the aspects of the game that you can control. The last key virtues in ethics in sport is respect. All individuals must play an important part to these virtues. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, so I will continue the presentation. I will talk about the codes of ethics in sport. So in this part is divided by 2, which is the first one is research involving human participant, and the second one is research involving animals. So I will talk about the research involving human participant first. So the goal is to obtain information through interventions or interaction with the individuals, and users studies or analyzes the information. And for the important point in this research is the first one is consent. So the participants' consent should be fully informed and free, free and private. And then the second one is conduct. So the research need to conduct according to frameworks and regulations. Next one is participant involvement. The researchers should try to involve parents and young people in the design of research. Next one is basic principles, which is respect for the dignity, rights, safety and well-being of all actual and potential participants. For the last one is protocol, which is the methods must be described clearly and appropriate at all aspects. For the research involving animals, the point is research animals are animals that humans use solely for scientific and product testing. The basic obligation on the researcher is to ensure the appropriateness of experimental methods, meaning that the researcher need to make sure they use the right methods in that research or in the experiment. Second is legally acquired animals, meaning that the researcher need to get the permission to do the experiment to the animals. Next is ensure that animals are properly housed and fed to ensure safe, hygienic and comfortable. And then next one is maintain a record of animal care, meaning that during the research or during the experiment, the researcher need to monitor the animal's condition or the animal's health. The last one is administer appropriate pain management to minimize suffering, discomforts and pain. So for the conclusion, a research project that have been done is categorized as a good project according to proper ethical standards. Sport technology can increase the performance. The next one is every people has part of mental, physical and psychological limitation. The next one is we can observe the problem by using research, and the very important thing is to protect the participants. The researcher need to study and practice the codes of ethics. So that's all from us. Thank you.